Good morning. I am back here with Morning Motivation with Miranda. I know it's been a while since I've done one of these, and I'm really committed to sticking with it for a while here. I may be late, but at least I'm here. So, today I want to talk about something that is important because it's one of those things that I get a lot of when I'm working with clients, and I have experienced a lot in my own life as well. And that is burnout and how to survive burnout. The reason that this is so important is because this is one of the biggest issues that my clients come to me with. This is something that they're often telling me, and they don't even necessarily know that this is the problem. They don't even necessarily know that burnout is the thing that they're facing. They just know that they're feeling a lot of stress, pressure, and frustration with work. A lot of times they use words like toxic, stressed out, frustrated, overworked. All of those words can be indicators of burnout. And we see that happening from a few different reasons. Number one, right now, in sort of this post mid COVID situation that we're in, there are a lot of people who are taking on a lot of work. There are a lot of people who are taking on the work of people who are no longer there. One job, or what used to be two or more jobs, are being combined into one job. So there really is a lot of extra stress that's happening. In addition to that, people have had to learn all kinds of different ways of how to work. We have people working from home, sometimes with kids. We just had a few months ago vaccinations approved for the younger kids. And so that we've started to see some improvement there, but there have been a lot of challenges. So there are some real external issues that people are facing that can cause burnout. Another thing that often causes burnout is sometimes it's things that are not really related to work. It's things that are related to you and your relationship with yourself. And that is usually it for me. So many times when I'm facing stress or burnout with my work, it has to do with the fact that I'm not taking time for myself. And that's something that I'm consistently trying to improve upon, because it's not, first nature for me to do that. So oftentimes that can be the case as well, is that when people are coming to me saying that I'm experiencing burnout or stress at work, sometimes it's really more something else, but that thing is just being carried over into work as well. So that's true. By the way, if you're watching live, say hi. If you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay. Let me know if you've ever experienced burnout and how did you survive it. So there are many different reasons for this. And like I pointed out already, some of them have to do with the actual environment that you're working in, things that are really happening at work. Sometimes it has to do with things that are happening inside yourself or externally that you're just bringing into your work experience. Regardless of that, the question that I have a lot of people asking me is, how do I survive that? And actually, that's not the question. Most of the time when people come to me, they feel like switching jobs is going to automatically save them. And everything's going to be better if they get a new job. Now, sometimes that is really true. Sometimes you've outgrown where you're at. Like I mentioned, sometimes there really are things happening at work that make it a toxic environment or a frustrating environment, or just an environment in which you no longer fit. It's not a good fit for you. And that's okay. Maybe switching to a different environment is going to work for you. But oftentimes what I find is that it's not necessarily that. It's a combination of factors. So the first tip that I have for anybody who's struggling with something that they think might be burnout is to sit there and do some writing and thinking and reflecting and figure out, what exactly are you feeling? What exactly is the emotion or the struggle? Sometimes it's easy for many different negative things to kind of all feel the same. And so when people get to me, when I start to work with my clients, oftentimes they're feeling very negative and they can't necessarily put a finger on it. Just about everything is bad. The places that they have to eat lunch aren't good and it's too cold. And in addition to like some really serious things, but at that point, all of those things have started to feel the same. And because of that, it's just kind of like a spiral. And they have not focused on what the real problem is. So that's the first suggestion I have. If you are facing some challenging emotions and stress with work, if you would say it might be something you consider to be burnout, then what is it? What is the actual thing you're feeling and what might be the cause of that? So taking some time to think about that. The second option that I often recommend for people is to see if there's a way that they can take a break. Now, obviously, if you are working, you need to make money. So taking a break from work completely may not be possible. But I do hesitate to recommend for people to jump from one job where they're feeling stressed right into another job, because what happens if you don't really take the time to deal with that, figure out the cause, understand what you don't want and what you do want in a work environment and situation, what's going to happen is you're going to jump right back into a negative situation. So that time for reflection and figuring those things out is really important. And oftentimes that requires some kind of a break. So if you're able to do that, with vacation time and savings and other things, that's great. If you're not, oftentimes I recommend taking some kind of a low pressure job to figure that stuff out before you jump into another position. Now you might say, what about a gap in my resume? Isn't that like a huge problem? Well, gaps in a resume can be problematic, but not as much as they used to be before COVID. And also, only if they're really big gaps and if there's a really big reason behind them. You have a good resume writer, they can help you with just about any gap. So don't worry about a gap in your resume. Don't let the possibility of a gap in your resume be what keeps you from taking the break you need to survive the burnout. So those are my biggest tips for how to survive burnout. Is number one, figuring out the cause or the exact feeling you're feeling and the cause of that stress. And then figuring out what you actually want, taking that time to do some reflection. Where do you fit? What kind of life do you want? What kind of job do you want? Not just letting following whatever openings are out there. And then number two, take the time, take a break. And there's many different ways you can do that. So this is where the customized solutions come in. And if you'd like to talk about a customized solution for surviving burnout, feel free to get in touch with me you can go to my website, morleycareersolutions.com. Also, we're doing some really cool things with Green Cow right now. We are having free classes every Thursday night on Zoom and in person. And we are also getting people assigned to mentor groups right now, which is really awesome. And with those mentors, those are completely free, and they're ways for you to workshop those challenges with other people who might be experiencing them also. So get in touch with us at Green Cow or get in touch with me at morleycareersolutions.com. You can also just send me a message on Facebook or send my business page a message on Facebook, and we can get you in touch with some of those resources that can really help you to create a plan for not only surviving burnout, but preventing it in the future. All right, guys, I will plan to see you on Monday. Keep me accountable to that. Leave me a message and say, hey, where are you? And I'll see you then. Bye.